Hello there, Sarah.
Hi, Paul. Nice to see you. Nice
Yes,
to meet you as well.
yes, it's become kind of quite normal now to catch up with people on Zoom, and it's a bit weird seeing your face because we're normally used to doing it face to face. These things.
Yeah, definitely, Paul. It's something that's changed quite a lot for me in my business in the last few weeks. Prior to lockdown, I was meeting and greeting people a lot, doing quite a lot of networking and meeting people for coffee face to face. And, I have to admit, it's something I really miss. But Zoom has been a good alternative, and it's proving to be a lifeline, really, just to see some faces again and make a bit of human contact. So I'm quite grateful for it, really, at the moment, like lots of
Yeah,
people, I'm sure.
because yeah, so we've not met before, and we've maybe chatted a little bit on LinkedIn. But you say having this, chatting to you now, it's that so much step further in terms of getting to know each other, and saying then it's meeting up face to face at various network others, which I think we'll all be desperate to go out and see people and get to know them face to face. So we work in kind of similar areas in what we do. If you'd like, for those people that don't know what you do, if you'd like to mention your
Sure.
business and what you do, how you help people, that'd be great.
Oh, thank you. Well, yeah, no, it's great. Basically, my name's Sarah, and I run SLC Digital Marketing. It's a small digital marketing consultancy that I set up in 2016 now. Essentially, we are a strategic digital marketing consultancy. So we help advise small to medium sized enterprises with all of their marketing requirements. Having said that, I would say our specialism is social media management, website creation, and copywriting. And copywriting is something very dear to my heart. I've always been a writer, I'm an English graduate. I love the power of the word. And for me, that is what I love about my job. So for me, that's something I like to specialize in. And I help clients communicate better and present themselves better online. And that's what we do. We improve clients' presence digitally. So that's, I think, in a nutshell, what we do. Quite
Brilliant.
varied what we do. Yeah, quite varied.
Excellent. I'm sure you find like we do, often if you're so close to your own business and maybe you haven't got that skill set to often to articulate what you do, why you do it, etc. It's hard to kind of sit down as a business owner to take it out of your head and get it onto a website or piece of printed literature, for example.
It is. And often clients, they approach us because they are not, they are experts in what they do, and they run a variety of businesses types, but they didn't necessarily start off a business because they're marketing experts. They're not. So they need help, they need advice. Sometimes they've got all that passion and ideas, but they can't translate it into digital content that's going to resonate with their audience. So that's what we try and help them achieve. We help them understand their audience and hopefully get better results out of their marketing activities. So that's what we're passionate about, and it's great for me to tap into people's why they're doing it, and that's why I love doing it, because it's kind of reciprocated. I suppose I sort of feed off their passion, and it sort of helps me with my why, because I just love helping people. So it works well.
Yeah, no, definitely resonate with that, with bits that we do, and say it's seeing your clients flourish, and say if it is something they do really struggle with, unpicking that is great to see when their brand really takes off and their business grows. I just wondered, I've obviously spoke to quite a few business owners now, and the kind of coronavirus pandemic, some sectors has affected a lot more than others, and I just wondered how you found the experience for your business and what opportunities I think you've come up.
Yes, it's a very good question. I think initially, like lots of other people, there was a bit of shock. There was a bit of, disbelief, really, that life could be so affected so fundamentally. And everybody had a little bit of time to take stock and to really think through the impact. I'm fortunate. I'm always very fortunate in our business. I've always worked remotely, and I'm a remote support, for clients. Having said that, I mean, I also have a small team of freelancers that work with me. And luckily, again, we're very good at keeping in touch remotely. And so for us, it wasn't too bad. What we were missing and what we have missed is that physical human contact that just, we used to meet up every 2 weeks. And that's been tough. But having said that, we've all adapted. We've all joined loads more WhatsApp groups. I think we've all joined a lot more Facebook groups. I think there seems to be a lot of that popping up. And so I think there is support. And speaking from my own point of view, I'm fortunate I belong to a networking group near Bristol, and they've been very supportive. They've sort of been doing coffee mornings online and just reaching out and offering a bit of support if you're feeling a bit low and a bit worried about your business, because I think we've all been impacted. Some clients have cut budgets, some actually want to do more, and they're saying to me, no, this is the time, and let's evaluate, let's look at what we can do, and use the time effectively. And I've been all for that. That's what I've been encouraging people to do, really. So using the time, really, and that's what we've been doing as well as a company. So I've been using the time to refresh my own website and refresh my approach, my proposals, and just look at my own marketing materials and try to improve my own. Because I never get time, you see. I'm always so busy helping everyone else. This has been quite nice for me, really.
I spoke to a few people that work in the same areas of marketing, and it is often builder's house is the last thing to get looked at. Only this morning, we were chatting about, kind of taking stock of, where we've got to and the journey we've gone on. And I shared kind of on Facebook last night a 10-year plan I wrote 2014, and it was great to see lots of these things have all come through. So I was like, right, and what we're planning to, what we plan to do next. And it's been a really busy time. I like you was first of all very, we had a lot of people cut their marketing because people didn't know what was happening with grants and support. So it was quite scary. We've worked really hard, built this up, and then it's taken a back seat. But what's been great has been all that support and things online, and it's been trying to fit them all in. It's just
I know,
and trying to switch off.
Definitely a busy time, and I think that's a common theme I've shared with lots of my friends, lots of people I work with, lots of my colleagues in the networking group. We're all busy. We're all playing a juggling act at the moment. I'm a working mum. I've got 3 children, and my husband's working from home. So we're all having to find new ways of being together. We're all having to respect each other's space that little bit more. We're all having to pull together. And actually, for me, I'm fortunate. It's been a family sort of bonding time, without sounding really sickly about it. It's just given us all a bit more respect, I think, for what we all do and how we all have to get through the week. And I think it's been very productive for us as a family. So I think for me, I will be glad when I can focus 100% again on the business, because I am, I'm playing teacher half the time as well. But I don't mind because I quite like being a teacher. So that's quite nice.
Yeah, we had that this morning. My youngest said to me, can you help me with some maths homework? I'm like the worst person you could ask because I was rubbish at maths. And that is that juggling. My wife's off furloughed at the moment, and it was good when she was able to kind of take, because it was constantly trying to balance this, that, and the other. And I haven't quite got the safe room set up in the loft yet. I did tell the cat, things get really stressed. We're going to go to the loft. I've got biscuits up there. Fine, we can hide up there and plan some things. But luckily,
good idea.
It's not happening quite like that. But I think, and as businesses start to, they've got some time to think about where their business is being, where it wants to go. I found it quite exciting, which I'm sure you have, to when we can help those people get back on their feet, with what they're doing.
Hugely. In fact, it's very, it's interesting you say that, Paul, because actually I've had a client this very week, and what we're doing is we're working on plans and how we're changing our approach for we run their social media channels, and we're now looking into, they've been a bit quiet, they took a break, and now they're thinking, well, hang on, let's just we've made some changes to the business. You know, we have changed slightly what we're doing. We have to respond. I think to start with, they were like, what do we say? Because traditionally they were a business, well, frankly, the business model had sort of fallen flat, and they hadn't got their traditional routes to market anymore. And it was all frightening, and there was a lot of upset. And then they took a while, they took stock, and now they're thinking, hang on, there are some services still we can offer, that we are adapting. And then also they thought, well, hang on, we also need to be ready, and we need to re-communicate to our audience when we are ready, when we come out of lockdown, we're still here and we can still help, and life will go on. And I think that's so true for so many. So that's what I'm helping one of my clients with at the moment, is looking at messages that resonate now, that are meaningful now, that, you know, we get the tone right, we adapt what they want to say, but we also look at a little bit of planning now. What kind of messages will be relevant when lockdown is lifted? And that's, from my point of view, I think there are glimmers of hope on the horizon. Lockdown is going to be lifted. We know it will be a phased lift, but a normal life will resume. But I think all clients of mine are having to evaluate what will be relevant messages when that time comes. And that's where we're at the moment, definitely.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. I've been quite fascinated by some of the bigger brands, how they've handled it in terms of their messaging and their positioning, and some, you know, which I'm sure you have in marketing. I've been saving some of the email communications from Tesco, Halfords, all the things that I sign up to. And it's been important to come across as supporting, and, you know, not be selling. Selling's been often, marketing is about, people think is selling, which it is, and it's a small part of it, but it is that communication and how you connect with your clients and customers, isn't it?
I totally agree. And it's interesting what you say, Paul. I've also been noticing, and actually it's been to credit of a lot of what I would say local small businesses. I've been hugely impressed with some of the ways that some of the small businesses have adapted, and, for example, use their Facebook pages to appropriately alter their tone. And I actually think, for me, something that's resonated at the last few weeks is, you know, genuine connection, where people have struggled, you know, businesses have struggled, but they are been innovating, they've been creating new routes to market. It's been phenomenal. I mean, I've got a local amazing farm store up the road from me. They're known for their fantastic array of deli products and so forth, but of course they're very much, the old route was just through the shop, and everybody would stop on the busy road to go into the shop. But now, of course, they've responded, they did a delivery, they set up a delivery service, and it's really been amazing. They've really used their Facebook page and their website really effectively. And I'm saying that I'm not running it, but I just thought that was really impressive, because what was clever about it, I thought, was they really tuned into that local feeling, and that feeling of helping the community. And I think that's what really resonates with people at the moment, is genuine help, not kind of false, you know, hard-hitting sale. It is about how you can help your community. And I think that those are the businesses that will survive this, those that have really, really tried to resonate with their audience and tried to come up with new routes to market. I think people are full of admiration for them and want to support them. You know I do. I think, well, I'd much rather support them than, you know, go to one of the big guys if I could help support a local. And maybe that's a message that's coming through more, that local community has been so important, hasn't it, for so many people in this time. I don't know if that's the same where you are, but it's been much like that here.
Very much so. We've used services that are more local. I mean, as you know, we have 2 community magazines in Taunton and West Somerset, and it is all about the local community and what goes on. And I think what's great, if you look back at the start of how this was the pandemic, we had these, I don't know if you remember, we had this lad that was in America, I think 2 brothers, that was stockpiling sanitizer, that was, you know, blatantly exploiting the fact that the need for it, which has slowly got, you know, that got parked. And then on a local level, it was all this, which we've been like, it's been the best thing to see communities coming together, because we often just see negativity, and social media does get a bit of a bashing for people ranting and this, that, other. But seeing people stepping up, seeing people evolve, seeing people connect for the first time online and willing to help each other. I mean, we're really excited about the next magazine to share some of these stories. And then on a national level, of course, we've now got Colonel Tom, as he is this morning.
It's been amazing, absolutely incredible man. You know, what an inspiration for all of us. I mean, I think just an amazing generation, you know, a generation that most people alive we just don't have a clue what they went through. And they really do show a shining light of positivity and their attitude that just, it just really inspires you, doesn't it? I just in awe. And I hope I look as good at 100 and walking down on my Zimmer frame. That's aspirational to me, and I hope everybody takes a leaf out of his book in that respect.
Yeah, and I say it's like you mentioned a minute ago, hopefully phasing back to what's a lot of the top of that is back to the normal, but it's the new normal. As I say, we've adjusted quite a bit, and kind of. We've all stuck together, and that's what's been great. And I'm excited, as I'm sure you are, I'm helping these people to maybe explore avenues they haven't, which you've mentioned already, they have with Facebook and kind of adapting. And for some people, it's out of being forced to try new things that they've gone, there are opportunities here. And I think it has opened up some people's eyes to say, hey, we could keep getting this going. We could evolve it. We could do this. We could do that.
Oh, hugely so. I mean, I've got a client who's a small sort of Pilates business, and she just thought her business was over at the beginning of this crisis. But of course, once she got her head around what Zoom was, I mean, everybody was talking about Zoom, weren't they? And I know there was a little bit of worry over it to start with, but I think most of those issues hopefully have been resolved. And people are using it effectively. It seems to be one of the go-to. I mean, there's lots of different platforms out there, but it's been very effective for her. And now she has launched, in the space of a few short weeks, an online offering, an online Pilates. And I, for one, I think it's fantastic. It's helping so many people in my community. We're all rallied behind her, and we're all doing that once a week, twice a week. And but that was an interesting proposition, because she was like, is it okay to charge for these sorts of things? And I think that was a relevant question that so many people were asking, like that sort of commercial, in these sensitive times. What are the right messages to put out there? What is appropriate? Is it okay? As you said before, should I be putting like a sales message out there in this time when obviously people, life isn't as maybe as straightforward, I think is the word, for a lot of people. We're all living at slightly different times. We're all going through we're trying to process a lot of information, a lot of heartache, a lot of sad news, and things are not, I think that's something I definitely would say to all clients is, you do have to really think through what is relevant to the audience that you're trying to communicate with, and do be aware of that tone of voice, because you can get it wrong with that hard sale. And I'm not sure that's always appropriate at the moment. So you have to really adapt, I think, and think what angle you're coming in at if you're going to go for the sale. But for someone like a Pilates, that was very useful. And I think there was still a genuine commercial reason why she could honestly ask to be paid, and nobody really minded. A few pounds a week to do that. It's hugely valuable and helpful. And I think it's just about made her business viable and ticking over until she can resume the online, the in-person classes again. So I think if it's appropriate, you just have to respond and think it through. And if you're not sure, I think you should ask. And that's what she was very clever at. And I think I've noticed this, that people are using their social media channels more to actually ask their audience. And I think that's been quite lovely as well. So that's the beauty of it, isn't it? I think social media is all about engaging conversation. And if you can do that, you're doing well. That's what it's all about.
And absolutely. And I say it's about creating opportunities, developing relationships that you don't know where things can go. And, you know, and it's those great stories that get picked up, and people make these relationships that they, during often the hardest times, that someone's really helped you, that then, you know, it's been really wonderful to see.
Yeah,
And
yeah, definitely.
I'm going to sort of wrap up now, because I'm sure you've got another
Okay.
busy day back with
Yeah,
us as well. And it's been lovely
I
talking to
have.
you. So thank you
Really
so
nice
much
to
for your
talk to
time.
you, Paul. Thank you very much for the
And
opportunity. I did want to ask, am I allowed to share what you record and the
oh, of
video at
course.
the end?
Yes,
So
of
I
course.
can share it on my LinkedIn and the,
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
brilliant.
Please
Yeah,
do.
and I'm not far. I mean, I'm not a million miles from Taunton. So you're around the network, you're around the Taunton area, because my sister's round that way. She's in Burnham.
Yeah.
So I don't often, I haven't got many clients in that way, but it's not that far down the motorway. So maybe when things are a bit different, I'll come and
Yeah,
be
well,
nice to get involved a bit more in your networking group, because that would be
yeah,
nice to extend out a bit the geographic reach. But yeah, so
excellent. So,
yeah, thanks so much.
you're welcome. I'm just going to finish up with the killer question, which I finish on.
Oh,
Um, if you weren't in marketing, all things digital and helping businesses,
mhm.
what do you think you would be doing different, or what were you maybe told at school you might be when you grow
Oh,
up?
if I wasn't doing this, I would either be two things. I would either be singing my heart out on stage and hopefully
Oh,
doing some sort of amazing Broadway career, but no, that didn't quite work out. So apart from that, maybe I would have been a famous writer. Who knows?
all right,
But you
yes.
never know. So no, I just love arts, and so that's what I love doing.
Brilliant. Well, thanks for your time, and hopefully you'll see you at a networking event very soon.
Thank you, Paul, and good luck with the series. It's very
Thank you.
good. So
All the best.
good idea. Well
Yeah.
done. Nice to
Bye
meet you.
then.
Bye.
Bye.